And we're live. What's going on, everybody? Great to see all the beautiful people out there in chat. What's up? Happy Valentine's Day. You know what? I mentioned this a couple of times in in Catfish Weekly. I did not get any bacon roses, Danny.
Oh my God, are you
Not a
serious?
single bacon rose. So
Man, I can't believe that.
I think I'm not making my wife coffee tomorrow. I think I need to draw the line somewhere. It could mean bad things for me for quite some time if I don't, but I think we're going to have to follow through with that. I got to put my foot down.
Well,
So
I want you to think real hard though.
I'm gonna sleep on it before I make that decision. You notice I was going to wait until tomorrow before I made that decision.
Because if your wife is like my wife, there could possibly be, I'm not saying it is, but possibly be something that you did because they don't tell you. They don't tell you that you did something wrong. They just deprive you of the bacon, and then when you make a big deal about it, you open up a door that you do not want to open.
You definitely do. All right, let me say hello to all these good people. We got a whole bunch waiting out here. Hello, everybody. If you're in chat, say something so I can see your name pop up. I see 3+1 Outdoors. Larry, what's going on? There's crew member and my sister Betty over at A Couple Crosses Fishing. What's going on, Betty? How you doing? There's Miss Annette Morgan. How you doing, Annette? Avid fisherman crew member. What's up, Avid? Thanks for sharing out that link like a madman. There's Brad Caudill. What's up, Brad? How you doing, bud? Brian B. Catfishing crew member. What's up, Brian B? Buck Williams in the house. There's Lynn over at Catfish Fever and Outdoors. What's up, Lynn? There's Miss Cindy Stokes. How you doing, Cindy? Thanks for tuning in. I see Skip over at Clearview Outdoors. What's going on, Skip? How you doing, bud? Crappie Day Fish On, also a crew member. What's going on, Crappie Day? How you doing, bud? Creole Catfishing in the house. If you haven't gone over to Creole and give him some hours, look at this. We got bacon emojis already coming at me.
Oh, Lord.
Sean's taking care of me. If you haven't given him some watch hours, go give him some watch hours. We want to get him to that coveted 4K watch time. So check him out. Creole Catfishing, easy to find on YouTube. Dale Hastings in the house. There's crew member Danny Thompson. What's up, Danny? How you doing? Danimals, Creations and Adventures. What's going on, Dan? David Smith in the house. Downtown, Ernie Brown. What's up, Ernie? We'll be having 4 a.m. coffees pretty soon, my friend. I can't wait. There's Downey's Tackle. What's up, buddy? Alicia Burnett in the house. Fat Boy Eric Fishing. How you doing, Eric? Fishing and Freedom, another crew member. What's going on, Richard? Fishing with Squirrel in the house. I saw Squirrel on his boat fishing. He was catching catfish and crappie. A man after my own heart. Way to go. Fishing for Whiskers in the house. Fishing Local 252. How you doing, bud? Garv Morgan. What's up, Garv? What's going on? Crew member and another one of my sisters, D. Get Hooked on D Fishing. What's going on, D? There's Michelle. It's all mine. How you doing, Michelle? What's going on, dear? Excuse me. There's James Kirkpatrick. What's going on, James? J-Dog's gone fishing in the house. He had a good day of fishing the other day. He sent me some pictures. That was cool to see everybody out there. There's crew member Jay Foxhunter. How you doing? John Boy's Catfishing. Joy Stewart. There's my buddy Justin from Justin's Fishing Fetish. Lance McCougai. What's up, Lance? There's Thomas, crew member from Laughing Cats Fishing. Laura the Explorer. How you doing, Laura? Lee Evans Lee Evans Catfish Kentucky Outdoors. That's a mouthful this time of the evening. I'm always used to saying Lee Evans early in the morning. He has his show every morning. What's going on, Lee? There's crew member LG Bass. He has his show on Wednesday nights. Is it Wednesday nights? No, it's Thursday nights Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights. Or Tuesday nights. LG, put down what day your show's at. There's too many. There's never too many, but you know what I mean. There's Mike Sampson in the house. What's up, Sampy? There's crew member Mike's Fishing Home. He has his show, a late show every night. If you're a small creator, go in there. He'll get you some subs. Mr. Gadget Fishing in the house. There's crew member Nina's Kayak Catfishing. Congratulations once again on your PB, Nina. Great job. Parker Pursuits in the house. Patriot Catfishers of America. James, how you doing, my friend? Had a fun time on your show the other week. That was a good time. Crew member Pontoon Jody Catfishing in the house. What's up, Jody? How you doing? Jody will have I think she starts fishing again this Thursday, or she fished last Thursday. She'll be fishing again late night Thursday nights, I believe, starting at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Real and Virtual Outdoors. Troy, what's going on? Your hat is on the way. Sorry about the holdup. There's my friend and another crew member, Real Gals Fish. What's up, dear? How you doing, Stephanie? There's John Parker, real-time catfishing, professional angler. Rich S in the house. What's up, Rich? Scott Swift. Sean. Now, is it silly or chili? You'll have to forgive me. Hello, Sean. What's going on? There's Sandy, Silver Fox Fishing. She was sporting some catfish and crappie beanie while she was out with J-Dog Fishing. She made the hat look good. I do have some beanies left. Contact me at mark@catfishandcrappie.com and I'll get you a hat, or I'll let you know how you can purchase one. I also have I got a whole nother load of we'll talk about this once the show starts. Solo Texas Adventures in the house. What's going on? Steve Lock 760. Take down catfishing. What's up, Kenneth? The catfish queen, Tara Blackburn. What's up, Tara? There's the Water Squatters. There's Josh from the Weekend Anglers having his biggest loser tournament. Everybody's making great progress in that. There's crew member Van over at V3 Customs. Annette Morgan, I said hello. There's Avid Fish, I said hello. There's Big Bill's Veterans Catfishing. What's up, Big Bill? Brad, I'm gonna say hello to again. What's up, Brad? There's Bugman 22. CVA, Central Valley Adventures. What's up, buddy? Cody Robinson. What's going on, Cody? He fishes with my buddy Jonathan over at Hooked quite a bit. Dale Hayslip in the house. Let's see. Danimal, David Smith, Don R in the house. What's going on, Don? How you doing, buddy? There's Chad, Feels the Water. Good show today, buddy. What's going on? Sorry, Epic had some trouble. Epic, if you're listening, man, hopefully you're making it home safe. There's Mike Greenwell from Greenwell Fishing. Indiana Chris in the house. What's going on, Chris? There's J-Dog again. Did I say hello to J-Dog? J-Dog, I'm saying hello again. Joy Stewart, I said hello, I believe. We'll say hello again. Lee Evans. Sampy, LG Bass. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. I think I got everybody. All right. Welcome to the Catfish and Crappie podcast. What's going on, everybody? Tonight I have a great guest, Mr. Danny Stone himself. Great fisherman from the state of Missouri, right, Danny? You're not in
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The great state of Missouri. I know that there's a few people. Oh, there's Eric Massey, Jig Company. What's going on, Eric? How you doing, bud? Another great Missourian. We got a lot of Missouri natives in here. How do you feel about that?
I love it. Hey, man, we've got all the states are great states, you know. But
are you a politician, Danny? Because there's some people out there that would disagree with you, definitely.
All the states are great states. Y'all get over it. We're all in this together.
I just saw shout out to Muddy Waters Bait and Tackle. Thanks for coming in. You know, they play our show in their bait shop sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That was one of the highlights of my fishing media career. We'll call it that, because there's a professional angler out there in the chat, and I do not want to offend them. Because I saw what could happen in one of these live streams when somebody came on with the name professional angler. It upset Mr. John Parker. I can understand why.
Now, Mark, I'm going to give you the opportunity, because I do this with anybody that's around me. I'm going to give you a chance. You're going to have to think of a safe word that you may need. So you're going to come up with a safe word.
We're going to use and those who know will know the safe word for tonight's going to be pineapple.
Okay.
Well, now, why would I need the safe word pineapple, Danny?
I don't know, because here's the thing. The safe word is not really for you. It's just for me to see how many times I can make you say it.
Oh, okay. So we're calling this a drinking game, are we?
Boom.
In that case, we're going to change it from pineapple. We're going to make it bullhead, because I know that Spencer over at River Certified, rumor has it that every time somebody says bullhead on the show, they drink beer, and I kind of like that game.
Okay, guys. The safe word tonight is bullhead.
It's bullhead. That's oh, look at this. Josh is posting pineapples up there. I want to see a bullhead emoji if there is one. Now that'll impress me.
But my goal tonight is to make Mark say bullhead as much as I possibly can.
Uh-oh. It's going to be a long night. Cheers. Look at this. Everybody's saying it.
You might say Gee, this is a huge mistake. Okay, we're gonna end it right here.
No, we got to make this last until 9 o'clock my time. We'll get there. I have no problem whatsoever. I got a lot to talk to you about. I got my tournament coming up, Danny. I want to bring that to everybody's attention. I'm going to give them a real high level. I've gotten a bunch of questions. So I'm going to give everybody a real high level outline of what's going on. Basically, there's going to be 16 competitors. 2 of those competitors is going to be Brian B and Creole Catfishing. They're getting buys because they were the 2 finalists in the last one. So we're going to pick 14 names at random. Now, so far, I got 27 people entered in. If you want to enter, I repeat, it's still not too late. You got until this Friday to get entered. You can just email me your name. If you have a channel, your channel name. Please include the URL. Save me a little bit of work. If you have a logo, send the logo to that email 1V1. That's the number 1, the letter V, the number 1 at catfishandcrappie.com. And you'll get entered to the pool of selections. All that I ask is that you are there next Monday to be picked. Now, what will happen is have your phone ready, have ready to come on and make your pick if you do get selected at random. So I will pick somebody from that list. That person will go through the list and call somebody out. Those 2 people will be taken off the list. We'll run the randomizer once again, and then we'll select the second pair until we have all the spots taken up. Each pair of anglers will make up their own rules each time they fish. So let's say you go up against Chad, right, Danny?
Oh, yeah.
You and Chad got to get together, talk, be diplomatic, and come up with some rules outside of the standard rules that I put in place, which are pretty much common sense rules. So stuff like fair catch, number of rods. If a fish is, this is one that's kind of, and we'll talk about this later. If a fish is gut hooked past the point of saving, I'd rather you harvest and fish than not. If an angler is hooked into a fish at the end of the tournament, obviously we're going to let him reel that fish in, and the other angler keep fishing until he does so. Uncle Lou in the house. Big shout out to Uncle Lou. And I see Lyle made it in here. What's going on, Lyle? And look, there's the professional catfish angler. He's from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwean?
Yeah, no, he's had me confused. I've never heard of I've heard of Zimbabwe.
That's okay. Maybe somebody out there in chat knows where that is. They can post a Google link to Zimbabwean.
I don't know. It might be in Alabama.
It could be it could be land of glizzies, because glizzy is a wiener, right?
Sure.
But we're going with it. I reached, Danny. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make.
No, you're doing great.
I'm reaching everywhere. Mike Irvin in the house. If I didn't say hello, Mike, what's going on? How you doing? Wow, we got a lot of people who just came in here. The pressure's on, Danny. So those are the rules in a nutshell. We're going to do the selections on Monday. If you did enter your name to be in the pool of selectees, I guess, of possible picks, please be here next Monday, and I will have the link in chat for you to come on, and when I call your name, you can come up and call your competitor out, and then we'll go from there. I do have a couple questions that I want you guys, or one question I wanted all the people that got in on a tournament so far and future. Oh, look at us. We got Bullhead again in chat. Thanks, Bill.
They're playing the safe word.
If I'd have known, I'd have put the cheap stuff in this glass. This is going to cost me some money. Where was I going? I forgot where I was. See, they threw me off my game. They always
every time.
John Parker may be the professional angler, but I am not acting like the professional podcaster. That's for sure. Not at all. Oh, this is what I wanted the people that have their name in the pool of selectees or selectors or people to be selected, to be called out, whatever you want to call it. I'll think of something witty, not on the fly, hopefully during the week. Think about whether you want to do it over one weekend, because it's going to take 2 days to get the 16 1v1s done. If we can do that on the first weekend, I'd be willing to do that. And then we'll have only 2 other events after that. I think we'll be good to go. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I know, Mike Morello. How you doing, bud? He can't understand why I didn't pick the word bacon as my safe word. because everybody would kill me with that.
They
really
would.
do. And I love everyone
Yeah.
from it. All right, so my attention goes to you now, Danny.
All
So,
right.
Danny, you're from Missouri. We established that already, right?
Yes, sir.
And you like to fish, correct? We know that for a fact.
Nope. I love to fish.
I think there might be a few of us here tonight that
Yeah.
feel the same way. Yeah, we're doing 16 total. That includes you. Creel Catfishing has a question in chat. He says, Mark, did you ever decide how many opponents will be chosen? Yeah, we're going to do 16 total. That includes you and Brian. So there's going to be 8 1v1s. So 4 one day, 4 the next for the first round. And then obviously that'll get, divided in half, and then we'll be able to get that done the next day. So that's how we're doing it that way. And we're going to select each time we have one, you're going to get to call somebody else out. So if you win your tournament, we'll add you to the randomizer for the next week, and we'll let you pick again. It's not going to so much be a bracket as it's going to be a call out tournament. So we're going to do that. Hopefully that answers your question. Jeremy, if you have any other questions, feel free to message me on Facebook, guys, or email, or any of my social media, which all the links are below. All right, you're in Missouri, Danny. You like to fish. How'd you get started fishing? Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh man, I've been fishing all my life. I mean, since we were kids, running barefoot because we lived out in the country, and we used to just walk down the creeks with cane poles. Even before we were allowed to, we got a lot of whippings for sneaking off to the creek. And it's just progressed from there till modern times. I mean, more knowledge, better equipment, and more time to fish, and more availability.
It's always fun. I know I always treated fishing like an adventure when I was a kid.
Oh, no doubt.
There's something to break from the norm, all schoolwork or chores or whatever it was, or get away from my city folk friend. It was my chance to get away and have some fun, maybe spend some time with my grandfather. It was a good thing. Fishing Local 252 has a question. He says, how many slots are left? I'm going to have to address this one. Basically, there's 16 slots total. What we're going to do is we're well past that, and people that want to get in on it. So we're going to use the random wheel, the randomizer, and we're going to pick names, and each name we pick gets to call somebody out from that list. Hopefully that made sense. 252, I appreciate you asking and showing interest. So, all right. And you fish the Mississippi quite a bit from what I'm understanding, correct?
As much as possible. It is my preferred location. The only way you will not catch me on the Mississippi is if it's flooded out, trashed out, where it's infishable. Then I'll go to one of the smaller rivers or streams around and fish those. But if the Mississippi River is fishable, that's where you're going to find me. I mean, there is no second choice on that unless I'm forced to.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you do have a boat, correct, Danny?
I have 2 John boats, but I haven't put them in the water in close to 2 years.
So a lot of the boat anglers in chat and the ones listening on a podcast are going to be like, what in tarnation? Why wouldn't you put that boat on the water?
Well, I'm going to give you a couple reasons. For one, I was a lot younger and better shape when I used to run those boats on the water because it was out of pure stupidity, because these are low-sided John boats, and it's not a smart thing to do on the Mississippi River, trust me. But back then, I was even dumber than I am now.
I totally agree with you. I had my first experience at Abbott's meet and greet on the Mississippi River there in my boat. I got a little 16-foot Lund, not as low side as a John boat, but still, it was it definitely earned my respect. So
yeah, it's not something to play with. And,
no, it's not. All right, so that makes a lot of sense to me. Why?
And point two, guys, nothing against the boat fishermen. Man, I got a lot of respect for them and I look up to a lot of them. But I'm a bank fisher, because even when I was running my John boat, basically all it was a taxi, because I would use that John boat to go up the river and go to islands or points that people couldn't get to on foot or by vehicle. And I would find locations where there's a deep hole off of a point or off of an island that the only way you're going to get to that bank is with a boat. And I would pull that boat up there on that island. I'd tie it to a stump. I'd jump out of that boat and I'd set my rod holders up in the sand and I'd go at it. So even when I was running the boat, I never fished out of the boat. I just don't do it.
Yeah, you were just hitting islands and stuff. We do that here on the local river too. We've done that. We got tired of walking our gear across the river. We would
Yeah.
do that. We would definitely do that. We'd walk it. Well, it's not the Mississippi; it's low water, but it would still. We got tired of getting wet, and we started bringing more and more gear, including like stuff like grills and coolers and stuff. A boat's
Yeah.
nice for that, but now you don't. Do you still do that? You still get those boats out there to ferry your stuff over?
I'm going to try to. I'm going to be out on a boat some this year, but I've actually got a good friend of mine, Jeremy Holloway, who has a huge boat. I mean, this is no normal John boat. This thing is a monster, and it's got double axle trailer on it. This thing is huge, but his son's got it decked out for bow fishing because he gets in a lot of carp tournaments where they go out and they shoot carp with bow and trying to cut down on the invasive carp. But he told me, he said, his son's not had as much chance to run that boat as he would like, and he wants the boat to be run because he put a lot of money in it. So he's offered to me to take that boat a lot on some trips and go out there on the river with it. So you'll probably see me do that a little bit this year.
I look forward to seeing that. Some of those bow fishing boats are pretty darn cool. They're pretty decked out. I know
Man,
some
he's
of
got
them.
lights, rod holders, a big, huge platform in front for shooting carp. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I'm no Mike Greenwell. Don't get me wrong. You're probably not going to see me out there bumping, but I'll probably anchor up in some spots and fish.
There you go. There's nothing wrong. Well, do you have any dams out by you?
No, we've got a few wing dikes, no dams.
Yeah, I had my first experience with a wing dike. Can you explain to people that don't fish waters that have them what a wing dike is exactly?
Well, it's like you build out the huge giant the what do they call those the big rocks? Dadgummit. But they got the huge granite rocks or sandstone, whatever they line the bank with to keep it from eroding. But they'll build out a pile of them out there for like the barges will pull up to it and they can get out and shelter out of that current. But there's still an opening for them to pass through. And man, those are hot spots for fish. If you don't believe me, you go watch Parker Pursuits and he'll show you.
Yeah, Parker's on the wing dikes quite a bit.
Like nobody else.
Yeah, I saw an episode with I saw an episode of Catfish Crazy where they were fishing the wing dikes on the Missouri River. Quitting over at Catfish Karma's always fishing those wing dikes. So that's the first place I went when I got my boat on there. And I learned a couple of lessons. Those wing dikes aren't a place to be messing with. That's for sure.
No. Well, they're worse. Here's the thing. I mean, I don't know from personal experience, but I've listened to you and I've listened to Lyle, and I'm thoroughly convinced that they're way worse on the Missouri River than they are on the Mississippi as far as the wing dikes.
I haven't been fortunate enough to get on the Missouri River yet. Notice I said yet. It's on my to fish list. Definitely, but I hear that that current over there is definitely something to be respected. Which is cool. It kind of adds. Remember, I mentioned that when I was a kid, it was all in it. Fishing was an adventure to me, and it still is to this day.
Well, I know I've heard you and Lyle talk about it in previous podcasts or other shows about the Missouri versus the Mississippi. And I asked a question one time, which one's more dangerous? And it was hands down. Everybody that had any experience in the Missouri River said hands down the Missouri River is way more dangerous than the Mississippi. Keep that in mind. With that in mind, the Mississippi, that old girl there ain't nobody to play with.
You ain't kidding. I had 16 ounces of lead pretty much jet skiing behind my boat when I was trying to get him down. It was ridiculous. I was trying to fish right to the outside and behind an abandoned barge over there down by the Kaskaskia River, right on the Mississippi, and there was no getting that weight down there. I definitely was there not prepared. Another experience I had when I was out there is I saw this tree pretty much smack dab pretty close to the middle of the river. And I'm like, well, we're going to get behind this tree, get a little shelter. You know, it's structure. There's going to be fish hiding behind there. This tree was literally like 30 feet, 40 feet above the water. I get behind it. My fish finder was showing 60 feet of depth behind this tree. So while I'm back behind there, I get caught up in a whirlpool. It turned me around twice around my shoulder, and that was enough for me. I'm like, okay, we're going back into the cast, and I kind of learned my lesson that way. So we kind of
see, I used to think those were fun. Then I got older and slower and sore, and they're not fun anymore. We used to run through the whirlpools just for fun of it because we were really stupid.
It seems like the closer you get to death and age, to the end
Yeah.
of your days on earth, the less you want to get there quickly. When you're young, you ain't thinking about it. You don't really.
Yeah. I mean, there were people on the shore one day watching us, me and an old boy named Ronnie Roberts. And we had my little 14-foot John boat out there with his 9-horse Yamaha on it. And they saw us out there zigzagging, and they're like, what are those idiots doing? They finally figured out we were chasing the whirlpools and running through them. And it would spin that boat around, and then they'd turn you loose, and you'd go for another one. I wouldn't do that now for $1 million.
Loco Mike is calling me names in chat. I don't appreciate that, Mike. These people, they're brutal.
Well, I would say get even with him, but he's on so late, we're usually asleep by then.
This is true. Well, we may take we may stop in there and give him some grief tonight. So
yeah. Oh, I got something I gotta get out the way real quick.
Absolutely.
J-Dog, I miss you, and you're my hero, buddy. There, I'm good.
J-Dog's a man. I tried to have him on my show, and he turned me down. He says, I'd rather be on the bait shop.
Are you serious?
Well, we kind of booked the same week on accident.
Well,
Chad asked him first. That's kind of the backstory, but I'm going to keep giving him some trouble. I should be getting a whole heck of a lot of texts from him here in a second. He's a good dude.
Well,
J-Dog's a good guy. The whole Kentucky / Ohio crew is good people.
Yeah. I'm not going to pick on J-Dog for 2 reasons. One, because I love him like a brother. Absolutely do. 2, if you make J-Dog mad, he's vicious.
Yeah, he goes to town with his video editing skills, doesn't he?
Yeah, we ain't going down that road again.
No, we're not going down that road.
Learn my lesson. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. So, the thumbnail of this, I'm sure everybody. Well, if you haven't seen the picture, I'm sure there's people in chat, and I'm sure the people in podcast land they can't see the picture. But why don't you explain to them what's in that picture with you?
Oh, you talking about the piebald?
The piebald catfish.
The piebald. That now you guys have to refer to that as the Amy Evans catfish. Okay, but piebalds. Here's the thing. I don't know what it is about. I don't know if those things. If you ever seen like certain species of fish, you can only find them in certain areas or certain characteristics. Where I fish at, those things. I mean, they're extremely rare. But I catch them quite often, and I've caught more of them where I fish at right there around New Madrid than any other part of the Mississippi River. For some reason, it seems like they're concentrated in there. I don't know if the genetics are just. I don't know enough about catfish. I'd have to talk to Tim Scott about it. But
yeah, or Zachary would know a lot too. Maybe we should ask him about it. But there's no mistaking that fish for any other ones because of that. There's literally. Let me describe this to you. It's what, like a 19-pounder, if I remember correctly.
Was 16.98.
16.98, my bad.
It was 0.02 away from being 17 pounds.
I was going chunky style on that one, so I'm glad I didn't go light.
I'll take it.
But it is a blue cat, correct?
Yes, it is a blue cat.
And it's like pale white as can be with some dark gray, almost blue color. That color's been called blue before, especially in like some breeds of dogs and stuff. And what does it have on the back of its head that makes it so unique?
It has a perfect question mark on there, and and we've allowed people. You can call it a question mark. You can call it a hook. Hogleg was on my live with me when I caught it, and thank God, because man, he just added to. It was so hilarious. With him commenting on that fish, because he got a coat hanger on his head. I almost fell out when he said that because I was thankful that Hogleg was there. But these fish, and I want to talk more about them because I do know a little bit about piebalds. What I'm saying is I've caught a lot of them in that area, and I fished other parts of the river and never caught them. But there's a certain section of that river where you just catch them on a regular basis. And when I say a regular basis, I've caught 17 of them in the past 11 years. The first one I ever saw, okay, and I've got pictures of this, and I'm going to post it sometime because there's also a lesson to be learned in it. The first time I ever saw a piebald, I took my wife fishing for the first time. First time we went fishing together. It was the first time she had been at the Mississippi River, and on her very first cast, she caught a huge piebald catfish. And when she reeled that thing up, she started screaming, and there was an old couple camping down the river, and they thought I was killing her. And they come running down there, and they saw the fish, and they started screaming. And that was the first time I ever saw one. Well, we've caught 16 more of them over the past 11 years.
I was just going to ask you how many of them you had.
Yeah, we've caught 17 of them total, counting hers. And I've got pictures. Yeah, there you go.
I just brought the picture up so people, because it'll cut off the audio if I take us off to show the background. So I figured
that's fine. I mean, you can see it. That is the color of that fish. He is snow white. He is white as the driven snow, and they are pitch black markings on them. And every one of them you get is unique because they'll all have different markings. It's just, it's like a piebald deer if you ever seen them. And some people refer to it as a koi cat because it was like a koi fish.
That's the first thing that comes to mind every time I see one of them. Is they look really cool, and I mean, a koi would have nothing on that fish as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, absolutely not. And I mean, I'm sure that people correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been told by a conservation agent that other than a piebald flathead, a piebald blue cat is the rarest fish in the Mississippi River, even more than the albino. The rarest fish, without a doubt, is a piebald flathead. I've never caught one of them, but I'm working on it.
You're working on it?
I'm working on it.
You seem to got the market cornered on the piebald blues, which is a cool thing. I didn't realize you caught that many of them. I know in your live stream you said that, and what tickled me about that live stream that you caught that on is you caught it and you knew right away what you had. You didn't even flinch. You kind of left it lay there on the side, kind of off camera a little bit, and you came up and you talked it up. It was very talented.
I've seen them quite a bit of times. I've seen them quite a few times. But I want to educate people about the piebald and the albinos because it's the same situation. I do know about these. I've caught them enough, and I've talked to enough biologists and people about them. Because when the first one we caught, we really got into it, and we called up Cape Girardeau, Missouri, at the conservation department headquarters, and we talked to them about it, and they really gave me a lot of information. The one my wife caught, you guys don't kill me, because it was 11 years ago, and we're going to talk about this a little about catch and release and all that. But we used to keep all of our fish, and we did keep that piebald that she caught. But what we wanted to do with it was we were going to take it home, put it in the freezer, and have a mold made of, or get a amount of that fish. Mm-hmm. Because our first fish she ever caught in the Mississippi River, it was a piebald, and she caught it on her first cast. So yes, we did take that fish home and put him in the freezer. Okay. Hindsight now, we both have talked about it, and she said, I wish we'd let that fish go. And I said, yeah, I do too. But the piebalds, let me tell you guys, if you ever get fortunate enough to catch one, all right, if you're going to keep it, I mean, that's your fish, no doubt, you're allowed to. If you're going to release that fish, please listen to me here. If you're going to release that fish, get him back in the water as fast as possible, because with that light pale skin, they cannot handle the sunlight. If you look and watch the video, you'll actually see that one was starting to turn pink. That happens in minutes. They will turn blood red. They get sunburned from just a little bit of light.
Yeah, you had mentioned that during the live stream, and I meant that's on my list of questions to ask you is exactly why that happens, but that answers the question, and you can see it. And what's the name of the video that you have that on right there? Danimal's asking about that.
Yeah, they are extremely sensitive to light. If you catch one and you intend to release it, hurry up, get your pictures, get your weight, get it back in the water as fast. I mean, it's imperative. You've got to get it back in there because they sunburn like a human being, but they do it. It's unbelievable how fast they start sunburning. I mean, you look and see how long I had that fish out of the water, and he's already getting pink blotches on him. His tail was turning pink. It happens really quick, and it's not good for the fish. So you need to get them back in the water quick.
I mean, you can see it happening while it's in your arms.
Yes. I mean,
like right in front of your face, it's happening.
Yeah. And I said, I am going to eventually, I've got a bunch of pictures of piebalds that I've never posted for the simple fact that we did keep those fish. We were stupid back then. You guys have to cut me some slack. I'm educated now. There's things back then that I didn't know. I'm way smarter now. I'm all about CPR. I didn't used to be. Forgive me for being a sinner. But
we'll talk about that in a minute. Take it easy here for a second. We're not going to hang you out to dry.
Okay. But
Well,
I will post those pictures. But the one that I want you to see, and I want you when I do post it, is the one that the catfish that my wife caught. Because when I post them, I'm gonna post 2 pics. I'm gonna post the pitch of when she first pulled out of the water, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's almost glowing in the camera light because it's so white. 15 minutes later, that fish looked like you'd skinned it. He was red as a beet all over. I mean, it just destroyed that fish, took the beauty right out of him. In 15 minutes, it did it.
Sean is asking, piebald catfish primarily in the are they primarily in the Mississippi River system?
I I'm sure there are in other places. That's the only place I've ever caught them. But piebald, it's a genetic trait that could appear anywhere. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised one of these days if Has or Chunky or Brian B are going to pull up one. And I'll tell you what, I want to see it when they do because those guys are really going to freak out the first time they see one. They're amazing. They are absolutely amazing fish.
Look at this. Joshua, the Weekend Angler, says they sunburn that quickly? Question mark. I
Yes,
learned something tonight. I learned that Chadwick Fields is a piebald.
yes. Watch my video of that. I'm not trying to get people to go watch my channel. I'm trying to educate you. Go watch that piebald video, the short clip that I made of it, so you ain't gonna struggle through the whole thing. You can literally see that fish has changed color within a matter of minutes. They sunburned that quick. They are extremely sensitive to light. Extremely sensitive.
It really is, folks. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I do have Danny's link in the description. Go over there, check out his videos, take a look at that fish. If you like what you see, make sure you give him a sub, help him get a subscriber count up as well. And I guarantee you, Danny will keep you entertained. So let's get the usual questions out of the way that everybody likes to know about because people like to hear big fish stories.
Fire away.
All right. What's your biggest channel cat, Danny?
My biggest channel cat, without a doubt, because I put scales on him, was 19 3/4 pounds. And he did come out of Mississippi real close to where I caught that piebald.
That's a good channel cat. That'll make me happy all day long.
Yep.
If I caught nothing but 19-pound channel cats the rest of my day, I'll be a happy man.
It took me forever to figure out that it wasn't a blue cat. I mean, because that thing was, a 19-pound channel cat. I mean, they look monstrous, but they're really long. He was unbelievably long.
And they look kind of freakish, don't they?
Yeah, some of their heads are like blown up big.
Mm-hmm. And then like their jaws and their lips get all kind of like swollen, messed up from feeding so hard.
And I'm still wanting to get with Tim Scott and ask him what is the deal with that, because I had an old man tell me, he said, when you see the ones like that, one guy told me it's the males, another guy told me it's the females, and it's they get like that, maybe a month or so before the spawn happens, their heads swell up. I don't know that to be a fact. It's just what I've been told from old timers on the bank, but you know how the stories are from the old timers.
No, that's the truth. The males before spawn, they'll get those 2 pronounced humps on the top of their skull.
Yeah.
And they look like they are jacked up on steroids sometimes.
I know, it's like a deer's neck swelling up, during the rut.
They get all worked up, man.
Oh yeah.
And we're talking like this on Valentine's Day too. Happy Valentine's Day again to everybody out in chat. So talking about the spawn and stuff. All right, so how about your big blue?
The big blue. Now here's the thing. Before the one I caught this past year, my actual measured weight of the big blue was 68 pounds was my PB. Now, that fish that I caught this past season, okay, I'm going to admit, I was really excited when I caught that fish. I was holding that fish, and I'm thinking, this is my PB, this is my PB. And we put those scales on him. They were cheap scales. They broke. We did not have weight on that fish. And because I was, like I said, I've learned to be conservative in CPR. I was there thinking, man, I've got to get a weight on this fish. I got to get a weight on this fish. There's no way possible I was going to get a weight on that fish, and that fish survived. So at that point, it was getting back in the water. So, and I've looked at some of the other people's fish that they've had on their channels, and I've kind of eyeballed and compared the size. And I think maybe I was just really excited, and that I saw that fish a little bigger than he was. So I'm going to knock that fish off the board, and I'm going to go back to my PB blue is 68 because I know I got a scale on him. That fish there we'll never know because he's swimming somewhere free in the Mississippi River.
I can definitely relate to that because it's been so long since I caught my PB crappie that I said, you know what, we're starting from scratch. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here at my desk here talking to you, and I even went out and I want to thank the person who got this for me, but I even got a scale just for the event.
Yeah.
So it's a little more sensitive than my catfish scale, but we're going to chase a PB crappie this year. So Josh, the weekend angler, has another question for you. He says, Danny, are you going to the lake which shall not be named this year?
I am not a lake fisherman. I'm nothing against lakes. I suck at fishing lakes. If it don't have current in it, you're not going to find Danny on it. Danny does not fish lakes because I don't know how. I fished rivers all my life. So as far as a lake fisherman, man, I'm useless. I can go out there and throw out in a spot and maybe catch a catfish, and in that case, it's pure luck. On the river, I fished that river for over 40 years now. I know where the prime spots are. I know where the fish, or the spots are where I've caught fish all my life. I know where the deep holes are, and the current seams. I know all about that, and I can look at the river and read that river and know just from looking at the surface of it how the water's flowing, if it's shallow, if it's deep, and I can fish that. A lake, I am an idiot. I have no knowledge at all. So lake fishing is out for me. I don't do lake fishing at all.
I'm kind of the same way. I don't spend much time catfishing on lakes.
No.
Oh, look at this. We got Catfish Weekly with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Lyle. I appreciate it. Let me highlight that one there. Lyle, you're awesome. You're a good man. I appreciate it. We're calling them super chat sizzles in honor of bacon from now on, people. So get used.
You know what? We're going to talk about Lyle Stokes too.
Or look at him on there. You know, I like to talk about Lyle, especially when he can't defend himself.
No, that cotton picker, I'm going to tell you something. Like I said, I have fished this river for 40 plus years, and there's been times that I've crawled through briar patches and climbed over rocks and climbed down through fallen trees and log piles and get to a spot, and you get there and there'll be a big rock that had graffiti on it that says Lyle Stokes was here.
Really? That's interesting.
Well, no, I'm joking, but seriously, every time I find a spot on the river and I start videoing it, Lyle goes, I know that spot. I know that spot. I know that spot. And I'm like, good God, Lyle. I said, it amazes me. And there's no telling how many times that I was fishing within 100 yards of Lyle Stokes over the years and never even knew it. You know, because I know exactly, he knows exactly where I fish. He's described it to me over the phone. He gets, okay, there's a point coming off an island right there, and you turn the bend and it splits off there. And I said, man, come on. And he'll describe where you're fishing to you over the phone.
He's got a real good memory when it comes to fishing spots, most definitely. I know when I spent some time with him in Wisconsin last year, he went right to where he wanted to get on the fish and he hadn't been there in years and years and years. He went back to that same spot and he put fish on the boat. So if I'm fishing with Lyle, which I hope to in the next couple of months here, I'm going to let him point the direction. I'm sure he'll put us on some fish. If he doesn't, I got my own platform to call him out on that. So Lyle, the pressure is on, buddy.
There you go.
We got another sizzling super chat from Mike's Fishing Home. He says he's matching Lyle's super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Mike. What's going on? He's just making up for calling me old in the chat.
Creole's wanting me to come down there to his territory and get away from Lyle. Well, Creole, I would love to come down and fish with you, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. One of my dreams right now is to go to the Mississippi River someday and look up and see Lyle Stokes there and realize that it's Lyle and give him a shout and maybe get to fish with him. There's a lot of great.
All you got to do is tell him where you're. All you got to do is invite him. He'll show up.
Yeah, and all I got to do is tell him. Said, okay, you know where the grain bins are? That one tree that's shaped like an S, and the log behind it there. Let's meet right there. And Lyle goes, I know where that's at.
Let's not give away spots too specifically.
Lyle knows where they're at.
He does. He absolutely does. And Creole, if he comes down there to fish with you, I may be heading down there too. Because I'm telling you what, Danny, I'm getting tired of this snow and ice up here. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I'm not going to tell you it's warm. I mean, we've had cold days here. And even when I caught the piebald, if you look at the video, I'm standing on frozen ice on the bank. There was somebody asking me, said, "That's the whitest sand I've ever seen." I didn't think they had sand like that on Mississippi River. I said, "That's not sand."
Well, I've been stuck in that Mississippi mud up to my knees, and
Oh,
it is not sand. I'll guarantee you. Thank you
yeah.
for the sizzling super chat, Fish and Freedom, Richard. He says he's matching Mike's super chat. Thank you, bud.
There
I
you go.
appreciate it. Yeah, all you got to do is ask Lyle. He'll meet you wherever you want to go. If he can make it out there, he'll be more than happy. And LG Bass, look at this, with another $5 super chat, and he goes sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. I think we got a hit here.
Well, you know, one of the things I enjoy most. I mean, I go fishing the river. If I've got a free minute and I'm able to get there, you're going to find me on the river. I mean, to the point that I'm never at home. I'm either at work or I'm on the river.
You know, I got nothing against lakes. I like lakes. I like reservoirs.
Yeah.
But I have a place in my heart that's near and dear to rivers. I grew up fishing the Des Plaines River, or even before that, the Kankakee River with my grandfather. Then when I fished the Des Plaines River, my parents were fortunate enough to get a hold of a piece of property on the Tippecanoe River in central Indiana, fish that. And now I live out here near the Fox River. I do a lot of fishing there. And hopefully we'll fish a bunch of rivers, everything from the Potomac to the James, and work my way west through the Tennessee, back on the Mississippi, or get onto the Missouri. I got a whole list of them. And never
Yeah,
end.
and see if they look back, I did not say that lakes suck. I said I suck at lake fishing. Okay.
I hear
So
you.
make sure we're
I'd
doing
be
that.
lost too. I'm gonna grill, or even take my buddy Ryan over at Setting Hooks and Crossing Eyes over on Instagram. He does pretty good on one of these lakes with him and a friend of his, Robert. I know him; he's an acquaintance of me, but I'm sure we become fast friends once we meet. But he's gonna show me how to get on some of them lake flatheads. So leading up to that, let's talk about your flathead PB. And thank you, Matt. Want to be outdoors? He says another $5 super chat for my bacon flowers. Thank you.
Okay. My biggest flathead. Okay. Again, I didn't have a scale. I didn't have a scale at all that day. So I do not have a weight on that fish. But the very first video that I ever posted on YouTube was 4 years ago. And it was a flathead that I had an Asian carp jump in the boat while I was going. I had my old John boat going up the river like I talked about before. And I went to this island. Now, that island that I was going to is directly in front of me where I was sitting when I caught the piebald. I was looking at that island. I took my John boat up the river. I pulled up on that island. I tied the boat up, and I took this carp that jumped in the boat. I'd never used carp before. I cut a chunk off of it about half the size of a 9-inch dinner plate. I mean, it was a huge chunk. And I thought, man, I'm going to throw my biggest rod out there just for the heck of it. And then I'll make my other rods up like a normal human being. And I threw that rod out there and put it in the rod holder and turned around. And before that hit bottom, the drag started peeling on it. And man, it took off. And if you want to see the fight of that fish, it's the very first video that I put on YouTube 4 years ago. It's Danny Stone versus Big Flathead. I didn't have a scale with me, but you look at the fish, how I'm holding it up, and you know what? Make it whatever weight you want it to be. You can make it anywhere from 2 to 30 pounds. I don't care. I caught the fish. I love the fish, and there it is. I didn't have a scale, but that is my biggest flathead. Don't know what it weighs.
That's definitely a great interview. Oh, we're getting a little bit of feedback here. Let's see what's going on. Uncle Lou says Danny's in the hottest place in the county in the summer. I didn't think I was coming out of that area alive. Yeah, I hear a lot of that. You know, my wife lived in Missouri a good part of her life. So, and she had a lot to say about the heat in Missouri. I got another friend that lives out towards Lyle too. And Lyle's always bragging about his 70-degree days in December. I'm like, no.
Hey, ask Lyle about Caruthersville, Missouri, upstream from the casino boat, because I know he's been there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We set out there. That's another reason I won't sit in a boat. I get on the bank and I'll set my rods out and I'll go crawl up underneath the willow trees where the shade is and watch them rods from the shade. You do not want to be sitting in a boat without a canopy over you or something, man. You will fry like, what's the word? Bacon.
Bacon. That's right. You ain't kidding. And you know, Fat Boy Eric saying this, Mark, have you been to Hoover Reservoir? Yeah, my monster 8-pound PB blue cat came from Hoover. Little information for Eric there. Yeah, look at this. Another sizzling super chat from John Parker.
John Parker.
Real-time catfishing, the professional angler. This won't burn the bacon.
That's another guy I want to fish with. I want John Parker to come to my neck of the woods if he could. If I could make it happen, I would love to have John Parker sit beside me because we're gonna bust that myth. I promise you. Where people
I'm
say,
sure he'd give you some lessons too, because he is a professional angler.
"Well, I'll tell you what. You know, I've heard people say, you know, we went fishing with John Parker and so caught a fish and so caught a fish. Then it was John Parker's turn, and then nobody caught nothing after that. John Parker, listen to me and look at me in my eyes right now. That won't happen when you come up here. I promise you. I'm gonna put you on fish, brother. They may not be monsters, but you'll catch fish like that. Guarantee it.
You get on some pretty good fish. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys out that are looking just for the big monster ones. But if you're putting, 20s and up, that's a good day of fishing. I don't care who you are.
Absolutely. And you know, when
was it last weekend when your wife let you out for a couple hours to fish and said, you got to be home, Danny Stone?
yeah, I got 3 right there in 2.5 hours.
There were some 3 channels, right?
Yeah. And here's my thing.
Too.
I can watch people's live streams and then go out there and be like, skunked again. I can go to those spots and hey, a little 2-pound channel cat, you know what it does? It saves me from that skunk.
That's right. I'll do
I know
that.
exactly where to go to get them. No skunks.
Outside of just like targeting, and thank you, Creel, for another sizzling super chat. He says, bullhead, bacon, 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 lots of bacon. Big Mike in the house. What's going on, Big Mike? I appreciate everybody and all your support. Let me see about now your last live stream, you had mentioned that area you're in. What I noticed right away is there's two small, well, those what you called creeks that come into the river there.
I don't know what to call them, but they're tributaries. Where people say we're going to explain that a little bit better because I actually gave some misleading information there. The one when you're standing there looking on the left of the video, the one coming down is a tributary that comes off of a spillway dam that they whenever the farmer fields start flooding, they open. Okay. They got 5 little gates on a spillway, and they open that up. They stay open all the time anyway. Normally, 1 or 2 of the gates stay open constantly, but when it starts getting heavy water, they'll open up all 5 gates. That is an actual tributary that goes way up north. Now, the one in the middle, or you go back to the right, that is not actually a tributary. It goes up and it goes around that piece of land out there, and it connects back to the Mississippi River. So it's actually just where the river goes around that island and connects back to it.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then those both come back together. And when they come back together, then they dump immediately into the Mississippi River. And there's a beautiful current seam there with a hole. I don't know how deep it is. Me and Richard Cluck have thrown 5-ounce baits out there, or 5-ounce sinkers, and counted to past 10 before it hit bottom.
Really?
So somebody do the math on that. We're guessing that hole to be probably around 80 feet deep would be a guess. It's deep.
Can you feel a steep ledge or a long ledge when you're bringing your baits back in?
There's 2 long ledges out there. There's 2 drop-offs. And the reason I know this for a fact, because Lee Evans asked me this question whenever the last time Fishing and Freedom was down there fishing with me, and he was setting up there in that spot, because I don't know if he'd ever been there or not before, but I was telling him, said, all right, you go out about 30 feet, and there's a drop-off. It's about 6 foot, a drop-off. Then you go out about another 40 feet, and it drops off 12 foot. And Lee Evans was going, how in the world would you know that without a boat, sonar, and all that? Let me tell you why. Because in the hottest part of summer, when you got a drought year, those 2 little creeks I showed you, they go dry. You can walk across that island. And I've walked that and watched those contours over the years so many times that I know them like the back of my hand. Even underwater, I can tell you exactly where they're at. Yeah, they change and alter a little bit, but the way that river cuts around that island, the main river, it slices into that bank and it drops off 12 foot deep right there, a slope. And if you see me catching those fish, you'll notice that a lot of people don't like it when you just put down on them and you're pulling real hard and you're jerking that hook on that. If you don't do that right there and they dive down into that ledge, cut the line. You're not getting it back. So you got to get them up and get them over that ledge as quick as you can when you hook up.
I got a couple spots like that. That guarantee fish, but you're not always guaranteed to get them out. That's the only.
That's it. And that second ledge, or the very first ledge from the bank, then when it drops off 6 feet, okay, it kind of curves back in there. There's an undercut, and there's roots hanging down in there. That's where I catch a lot of flatheads when they start biting. Is right there.
Absolutely. That's what I was just going to say. You got my flathead fever going there.
Yeah,
Just by
here's
describing
the
that
thing.
place.
Yeah, you'll hook up for every 10 flatheads you hook, you might get in 4 of them because they run straight for that undercut. There's roots hanging down. They know where to go. They live there, and that's where they head when they're hooked. And you will lose a lot of rigs, but you'll get some nice flatheads out of there, though.
Look at this. J-Dog's trying to get some intel out of you already. Don't answer this question. Keep it to yourself. So if you get selected, you might have a leg up. He says, who would Danny call out if he gets picked for the 1v1? Keep that to yourself, Danny.
I haven't seen the list. I don't even know who's on it. I know some of the people that's on it, but I couldn't answer that question anyway because I would have to see the entire list. Okay? I would have to see the list before I could answer that question.
And we will this Monday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Catfish and Crappie channel. We'll do our call outs there. We'll download it also to a podcast. Hopefully we can keep you guys in podcast land entertained as well. I appreciate you, Crappie Day Fish On, for the $5 sizzling super chat. He says, 2 bullheads. Oh my God, I'm starting to get lightheaded here.
Aren't you glad I put that safe word out there for you?
You did.
But you know what?
Change it.
They're at least throwing a little something with that bullhead every time, so it kind of paid off for you. And the majority of the time, they don't just say bullhead; they're gonna throw a super chat bullhead at you, and I like that.
I don't hurt me none either, Danny. Another thing I wanted to bring up from what I saw at your last live stream is the amount of bait you had in that area.
Oh God, it's man. The invasive carp is ridiculous. And I know I've discussed this with Lyle and Epic. They talked about how the catfish are adapting to the invasive carp as a food source. And man, used to, I was a straight skipjack or shad guy. But over the past 6 months, catching that carp, snagging that carp, cutting up, throwing chunks out there, and getting fish after fish after fish. Man, I tell you what, you're going to see a lot of me catching carp, and right off the bank, you're going to see me catch the bait, cut it up, put it on the hook, and land a catfish. That's our thing we're going to do this year.
I
did strike me odd.
You did like that. You snagged that one big old Asian carp like on the first cast, and then you got one right away on the second one too. I was like, oh my goodness,
they're stacked in there like lumber.
Oh, I can imagine. That's got to be crazy. And I had my first experience when I was down on the Mississippi out by the cast, and I totally forgot about it because we don't have Asian carp up here. And when they jumped, they scared me half to death. I thought I was going to soil myself. I didn't.
They're dangerous. I was riding with a buddy of mine named Jason Burge, and he was in the back of the boat running the motor, and I was in the front. And about a 40-pound carp come out of the water, and it nose butted him right in the face. And I mean, his face was pouring blood. It about knocked him out. He was out of it quite a bit. Almost fell out of the boat. Those fish hit you, and they can hurt you. They hit you in the face head on. That's a hard, bony head. They can physically do damage to you. So they're dangerous too.
They broke a lot of noses in their time, so I know that for a fact.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you want to get in on the selection pool, just contact me with your name and your channel number and your URL to 1v1 at catfishandcrappie.com. You can always go back and listen to the show. I kind of went over it in the beginning for the rest of the details. So we also got Bex in the house. What's going on, Bex? How you doing, dear?
Bex!
Paul Frick showed up. What's going on, Paul? Let's see what else we got here. So I mean, there's nothing more you can ask for than a bank spot where you can catch your bait and your fish there at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I can't remember who it was that said third day. It might have been Lyle, it might have been Tim, one of them. That they talked about that it's easier to snag them in the winter because they school up closer together. But for me, in my experience, I snag them easier in the summer because they are spread out. So no matter where I cast, I'm going to hit one of them. Because if they're schooled up, then sometimes I'll have to take more than one throw to find the school. Now, once you hit one of those biggest carp, when you hit one of the great big ones in there, I'm talking some of these cotton pickers get up to 20, 30 pounds. And you hit one of them and he starts thrashing around, those carp are super spooky. They will scatter, I mean, everywhere. And then you're having to wait for a little bit for them to get back together and throw
I,
again. Right?
even your standard carps are the same way. I fish with
Yeah.
a lot of baby carps live. Baby carps. Listen to me, baby carp live. I love using them for live bait. I got really fond of them this year, and man, I never realized how fast them fish are. If
Oh,
I got
really?
a cast net out there, if I miss them the first time, I got to wait a good 5 or 10 minutes for them to settle back.
Settle down. Yeah.
Yep.
If you ever want to have fun, you go up in one of the shallow water tributaries of the Mississippi in a boat and watch them run in front of you. I mean, those things, I mean, they're like torpedoes going through the water and the waves coming over their back. Those things can haul butt. I'm serious. They are powerful. There's something else.
A lot of fun. Brad, thank you for sharing my link. I almost forgot to make that announcement. I finally got a merch store up. If you're listening to this on podcast, again, I know I keep saying this like a dummy, but I'm terrible at self-promotion. I'm just trying to remember to do it, Danny. Go to the site, catfishandcrappie.com, and click on the merch link. It'll take you right to the store. If you want to get some hats, I got a whole load of hats in. I'd planned to take them to the Catfish Conference. Unfortunately, I'm not going, so I'm going to have some hats for sale. If you're interested in them, email me, contact me through the site. We can get you a hat there too. I have a few beanies left, so those are for sale too. So sorry to interrupt you there, Danny. I just
no. But I'm definitely gonna have to hit you up on that because here lately you can't click on a single cotton picking live stream. Everybody's wearing a catfish and crappie hat. And I said, am I the only one left that doesn't have a catfish and crappie hat?
You see this hat that I'm wearing? You see this hat I'm wearing here? This is a one of a kind. Yeah. And the reason why it's only going to be a one of a kind is because it's solid black, Danny. And you know how solid black gets hot in the summer?
Oh my God, yeah.
It's a winter hat, but I'd rather wear my beanies, but they're good.
Yeah. You wear that out in the sun, it's going to fry your head like what?
Yeah.
Bacon.
This is my dress hat. This is when I'm getting dressed up to go out on the town. I'll wear this sucker. So hopefully we'll have some more designs and stuff going anyways. So you wanted to talk a little bit. We're see, Danny, I knew this was going to be a great show. We're already at an hour, but you did want to talk a little bit about your journey into finding the light, seeing the light, the CPR light to say.
Here's the thing, and they got to understand this, and they're going to have to forgive me for my past discretions. Okay. We grew up poor. We grew up really poor. My dad was disabled, and they had us kids out hunting when most people would have said that kid's got no business with a gun. But we were out squirrel hunting. We used to the small ditches around our property and stuff. Me and my brothers go down and kick our shoes off because it was the only pair of shoes we had to wear to school. We had one pair of tennis shoes. We'd go barefooted and wade the creeks and gig carp. And we would, Mom would pressure cook those carp and make like salmon patties out of them. And we ate squirrel, rabbit. Catfish was a delicacy. If you could land a catfish, but there was no such thing as turn anything loose because that was food. I was raised that way. Now, I stayed that way all the way up till about 3 or 4 years ago, because I've got a lot of past videos that were on Facebook that I thought about putting on YouTube, but I didn't because those fish would be getting thrown in a cooler and I mean some of them are 10, 15, 20 pound fish, and they go, oh my God, why are you taking that big fish home? They're not fit to eat when they're that big. Well, first off, I beg to differ. All catfish are delicious if prepared properly, but that was a waste, and it's something that I regret deeply. And y'all forgive me because I've seen the light, and I only keep if I want some catfish, I'll keep channel cat, and I don't like anything over 2 pounds myself. I like them to be about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, where I can fillet them out, and you don't have to cut the fillet up. You may have to take a little mud line out there, but when the whole fillet is the size that you want, you don't have to cut it up. That's the perfect eating fish right there. But yeah, I was at a stage in my life where it was catch it and kill it, catch it and kill it. And I've got a lot of videos that you guys will never see because it was mass murder, I'm telling you. But we don't do that anymore. So forgive me for my past discretions. I ask you that, and just watch my show and enjoy what we do, and you'll see a whole different conservative side of Danny Stone. Just like you saw with the piebald. I had a ton of people call me after I released that fish, and they were go, "What were you thinking? Do you realize how much money somebody would have paid you for that to put in an aquarium? Do you realize you could have took that to Bass Pro Shops?" Yeah, but I do know that, and I knew that before I released the fish. I know what that fish is worth on the open market if I want to sell it. That fish wasn't for sale, for one. Number two, that fish was already starting to turn pink, and there was no way that I was going to be able to keep that fish alive to get it to them people. The common sense thing to do, the right thing was to do, was to get it back in the water as fast as possible. There was no dollar sign that was going to buy that fish that day. I promise you that, because the life of the fish was at stake. And plus, I gave that fish to Amy Evans. It wasn't mine to sell.
Can you imagine if you caught that fish again?
Could you imagine?
There would be no mistake in it, would it?
On a freaking live stream? Oh my God, dude.
It'll give you something to talk about. Like, will we catch the
you know how many people there would be people coming out of the woodwork say, "Oh man, there's something fishy here, and it ain't that fish," you know? Because what are the odds of that happening? You know?
See, Lyle over at Catfish Weekly is saying thank you for that, Danny. I'm sure he really took it to heart, the fact that you're able to say what you did on here and change your ways and stuff, and the fact that you put that fish back in the water pretty much proves it to me. So
yeah, I mean, you'll see every big fish I caught last year. You'll see I released it. You know, I did go one trip last year with a friend of mine, who let's just say they're not that well off, and we took some. There was 3 fish that he wanted that day, and I think the smallest one was like 10 pounds, and the biggest one was like 16. Which I told him, said, "Man, let's try to get you some little ones." He said, "Dude," he said, "I can take these 3 fish, I can cut them up, clean them, get the mud line on them." He said, "I can pack them in the freezer," and he said, "I got meals for a month." And I'm like, "Okay, take them home with you."
yeah, responsible. I mean, as long as within the regulations and stuff, they're your fish to do what you do with them, as far as it goes. But we definitely want to encourage responsible harvest. Take what you can
Right.
eat. Definitely, if you're hard up or something, it's always good to have that skill to go ahead and back it. And if you know somebody who's needy, go without some fillets for a couple of meals and give them up to them. You can always do that too. That's
Yeah.
usually the way I do it. I live in a little different area up here up north. People are pretty adamant about CPR only fishing, and I have my mixed feelings on it. I consider myself a CPR angler. I put all definitely trophy fish back. I keep much smaller ones than most people would think. And
Yeah, I actually did a video where I caught small channel cats for a family that was there while I was fishing, and they were very thankful for it. They God bless you and all that everything. And that guy was pretty cool. He was there with his wife and his daughter or granddaughter. I can't remember which it was. And they were saying they really wanted some fish that night. And I caught them 3. I caught 2 channel cat and 1 blue. I think the biggest one was almost 3 pounds. And they were extremely thankful for it. That being said, there's about 5 people over there where I fish at that they watch for my truck. And they know that I'm a catch and release fisherman. And they will come down there where I'm at and sit beside me, waiting on me to catch a fish. I want that one. I want that one. I want that one. And I do make people mad because I cut a limit on them. I'm like, look, this is getting ridiculous. This is a 25, 30 pound blue cat. I will catch you a couple of channels or something like that, and you take those and be happy. And they would get mad, stomp off, cussing me, because I would throw back a 20-pound fish. They would be mad. And you know what? I'm just like, suck it up, Buttercup, because these is my fish and this is my rules.
That's right. Just tell them, don't be greedy. This is the way I got to do it. So
they look for my truck because they said, if you go see him, he'll give you fish. And I said, well, if I think you need them, and I'll get you a few small ones, yeah. But I am not. I'm not running a fish market here. That's not happening.
Very cool. Apache Adventure says, "What happened to the mud puppy?"
The mud puppy is back in the Mississippi River. I brought that thing home, and my wife almost cut my head off. She goes, "That's not going in my fish tank. It's not happening."
That was a big one too. It was pretty huge.
Yeah.
Man,
But I've got an aerated bait tank in the backyard that I keep all my bluegills in. So he spent the night in there, and the next day we took him back to the river. So we released him in the exact spot where we caught him at.
cool. Yeah, there's an example right there. My buddy Ryan over at Setting Hooks and Cross Lines says they rip you a new one up here. You ain't kidding.
Yeah.
I have no problem with responsible harvest. Hey, there's Dieter. How you doing, Dieter? Dieter Melhorn in the house. What's going on? How you doing, sir? So, Danny, we're well over an hour, buddy. Is there anything else you want to let people know?
I want to tell them what to look for this year. Okay, my plan. This is my plan, and I hope these guys go along with it. Of course, you're going to see me out there on the river every weekend that I'm not working. I'm going to be out there. If there's a bunch of people live stream, I won't pile on top of another live stream. I will record it. I will make a production video because that's the way I am. You know, I try to be respectful of people who, if you put out a thumbnail all week long saying, okay, I'm going to do a show Saturday morning at this time, and you've had it up all week, I'm not going to come in there on Saturday morning willy-nilly and just stomp in there, and I'm probably not going to pull your viewers anyway. But if I pull any of them away from you, I feel guilty about that. I have a camera that can record, and I can throw my production video up anytime I want. So you're going to see a lot of me on the river. I guarantee it. And guys, I'll tell you something. This winter fishing's been fun, but you have not seen the best of Danny Stone. Mark my words. Because I was just getting started. I started my YouTube channel 7 months ago is when I started putting videos up. And I'm still learning a lot about video editing and stuff. I don't know how to do the music things and the flashy little thumbnails and stuff. I don't know how to do any of that. What you get with me is raw fishing, raw footage. You'll get to see me catching fish and putting up there these crappy little videos with beautiful fish on them. That's what you're going to get from me all year. And the summer is going to be a blast because we're going to do a whole bunch of shows where if the people can hang with me, because I do this a lot, I'll go to the river right before the sun goes down, and we don't leave till the sun comes up. And we're going to set up this year and do a bunch of those all-night live streams for you guys. It's going to be fun for people that want to take a nap and wake up and see how I'm doing. We're going to do a bunch of those. Also, if I can talk them into it, what my desire is, I want to do a lot of shows with Richard Cluck from Fishing and Freedom and Jerry Parker Pursuits. I love doing team-up shows. I love it. And Jello, I want to get Jello in there with us. I have a good time out there fishing with the river on the river by myself. Obviously, I enjoy fishing. But to me, when you've got guys that are actually there with you and you're all hooking up, or so-and-so's got one, let's all run down there with the camera, or he's got one, let's run. Man, that is the best. 100% cannot be beat time of your life. Okay. Yes, I know when you're doing a live stream that you got everybody in chats watching what's happening. Okay. But trust me, when you got him standing 20 feet from you on this side and 30 feet from you on that side, and somebody hooks up on a big fish, there is no thrill better. So this year, I'm going to push for him to do it. I'm pushing Parker Pursuits. I'm challenging him to do a lot more fishing shows with me and Richard Cluck, Fishing and Freedom. I'm challenging him that we team up and show these people what the Mississippi River is all about.
Amen. You know what? I want to come down there and fish too. I plan on coming down there and fishing with my boys down there. So
yeah,
hopefully we'll get to meet too. And Lyle says, what about me? He's upset that you didn't mention him in that.
I've already mentioned Lyle. I said there basically. I said Lyle Stokes was everything but God on that river, and I said him before anybody. I said my dream is to one day go to the river and look up and see there was Lyle Stokes. Lyle, you might want to rewind and watch that part, brother. That came out of my mouth a long time ago.
Cool.
My dream is to see Lyle Stokes on the river and say, "Hey, buddy, let's fish together." And I want him to tell me. I don't want to ask him because, you know, if I ask him and he says no, I'll be devastated.
He don't say no. If he can make it, he'll definitely make it. So, hey, I want to thank you, Danny, for coming on the show. You're a blast to talk to. It was a good time. Thank you for sharing your story about how you've converted over to CPR and your piebald catfish with the hook on its head story. That's pretty cool stuff. There's a few other things that I did want to talk to you about that I haven't forgotten about. So I'd like to have you in true Lyle Stokes fashion. I stole this trick from Lyle. I'd like to have you on my show another time in the near future. Would you be interested in something like that?
Man, I'm always up for talking to people. You know that. Jody, ask Jody. I never shut up.
This is true. I want to remind everybody that Danny's links are in the description, both here on YouTube and on the podcast. So if you could please go over to Danny's channel, check out the videos that we've been talking about. Check him out. He's very colorful, and I mean that in a great way, Danny. He'll definitely keep you entertained, and he'll show you some great Mississippi fish, whether they're channel cats, flatheads, or piebald blues even.
We're gonna get another one of those this year. I guarantee it, because we're going to be putting twice as much time on the river. I can promise you right now, you will see another piebald out of that section of Mississippi River this year.
Careful what you promise, man. Careful what you promise.
I'm telling you, I'm that confident in it. Bank on it. It's going to happen. I got better chances than anybody else.
You guys have a great night. Again, thank you, Danny. Thank you for everybody in chat. Remember to tune in next Monday night. We're going to do the selections for the 1-versus-1 tournament. We're going to get started with that. So if you did put your name in on it, please be there. Have your phone ready so you can go on there to make your selections. So tune in next Monday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll be there. Obviously, the usual suspects this week, like LG Bass has Laura the Explorer this week at 10 p.m. He just posted that in there. We got the nightly shows, and I'm going to say Bullhead one last time, all on my own, Danny.
There you go, brother.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Stay blessed. Happy Valentine's Day. Bacon.